working on. They've done an awful lot in a very small amount of time with lots of time in between, and that's really hard to get music together like that. So we're all very impressed with what they've done, and we know you're going to be impressed too. So our first group today is our middle school ensemble, and they are going to play 3 pieces of music for you, starting with an Irish folk tune called Trombone. We hope you enjoy. You gotta have the mood lighting. Nothing like a sea shanty on a Sunday afternoon. Our next piece is an arrangement of a folk tune that Mr. Ben Roman over here did. I also did that last arrangement. This is Flow Gently Sweet Afton. I don't know what the Afton is, but it's probably a body of water, I suppose.
Probably. We do lots of folk tunes because they're public domain, which is hilarious given what we're closing this section of the concert with. So this was originally arranged using the lyrics to a Robert Burns poem, and then it became Appalachian because the guy who wrote the tune is from Kentucky. Robert Burns less so for the English majors out there. All right, looks like we're done shuffling, so without further ado.
probably know about this part of the workshop, but I'll explain it for those of you who are new. One of our favorite parts about this experience is that, unlike band class where it's one teacher at the front of the room and teaches a bunch of people, we have a bunch of trombone players here who are adults. Some of them are professional musicians, some of them do other things, some of them work at law firms, some of them are engineers, some of them are retired. Dave works at Casey Strings, which is like a strings shop, if any of you are orchestra parents as well. But we really get to work with much higher levels, or numbers rather, of teachers to students, and that makes it really neat, and it makes it especially neat because they get to stand next to a lot of those mentors and play along with them, so they get to hear what it sounds like when you've been doing it for a lot of years. In Dave's case, I don't know, like 3 or 4 times as long as they've been alive. In case you didn't know, Dave is very old. Dave, raise your hand. Yes, he's the elderly one there, yes.
1971.
In what?
Since I've been playing.
Dave has been playing since 1971. Amazing he's still alive. All right, our last piece for the middle schoolers today is a fun one. This is the main theme from The Avengers. high school and college people, you're going to come up on your side. Ready, set, go. all the stands and get to all the right places is the hardest part of the whole dang workshop. It's none of the music. It's just finding the right place to stand. So the group that's standing up in front of you right now is a combination of high schoolers and college students, all the way up. I guess I don't know if we have any seniors this year in college, but all the way through undergraduate and college, and then our mentors are either adults or sometimes graduate students in college getting their masters or their doctorates. So we get to play some really advanced music because there's an awful lot of musical talent up here. So that's pretty cool. There was something else I was going to say, but I already forgot. Oh well. Looks like we're almost ready. Our next piece is, we've had a piece for, I think, almost all the years we've been doing this, not quite, called the Kansas City Trombone Workshop Fanfare, and we always played it, and then Mr. Akagi here decided he was tired of that, and so he wrote his own. So this is Kansas City Trombone Workshop Fanfare number 2. We hope you enjoy. You can say something. Oh, you turn back.
Oh, sorry. I'm not saying it's better than the first one, but if it just so happens that you enjoy it more, make sure you tell Dave because he wrote the first one. So. And I have not been playing trombone since 1971. Just fun fact.
So another one of the things that we do in the summer besides this giant trombone choir is we do chamber groups. And chamber music, if you don't already know, just means music where you're the only person playing your part. So you have complete responsibility over that part, which is so very different from what they do in class every day. So for the concert, they are actually performing as one big group, but these groups, in theory, are supposed to rehearse separately. So there are two quartets practicing, working on their music, one on a part, which is very challenging. And now, just to make the concert go faster, this used to be, raise your hand if you were here, I don't know, like, what was it, 2 or 3 years ago, when it was like 2 hours and 45 minutes. That was a long concert! And I sweated a lot! So we decided it had to be shorter. So we are combining chamber groups just so it goes a little faster, and we think it's a good idea. But we know you'll still enjoy your performance. Each of the chamber groups has a mentor, either a college student or an adult professional, playing one of the parts and working the rehearsals and teaching the stuff. So I'm sure they're all going to sound great. Here's our first group. is called Helicopters. And this is another one of the things we do every summer is we commission a brand new work. So this piece of music was written by a Kansas City native trombone player named Brian Scarborough. If you're plugged into the Kansas City jazz scene at all, or like the traveling Broadway companies or anything like that, Brian plays a lot around town, and he's very, very, very talented, and he's also a lovely composer. So if you're curious to hear more of his work, I believe he has at least, I think he has one or two albums out of his jazz group, so you should look him up. But Brian wrote this piece called Helicopters for us, and it was inspired by, the seeds that come down look like helicopters. It was inspired by those, and it's a really neat piece of music that we really enjoyed working on. And you're the first people ever to hear it performed, so we hope you enjoy. I'm just curious, this will be kind of a fun game once they're all at their stands. Told you this was the hard part. You guys can just. We want it to their proper standards. Beautiful face. Just for fun, I have all the trombone players on stage. Students, raise your hands. Keep your hands up if you have done this for 2 years. Keep your hands up if you've done this for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, and then keep your hand up if you have done every single year of this since it started. Raise it high so everyone can see you. Very cool. Applause for them. All right, here's Scarborough Fair. All right, the next thing on our concert is one of my favorite things we do every year. We have a local guest artist. We always have somebody come earlier in the summer to work with the kids during rehearsal. And then at the concert, we have a local guest artist who comes and plays something. We feature them. And this year, we're especially lucky. Just a few years ago, the Kansas City Symphony got a new principal trombone player when Roger Oyster retired. And her name is Evelyn Carlson, and she is an astounding musician and trombone player. And this year, she's going to play with us. So let's give a warm welcome to Evelyn, please. I'd really, really hate to follow that, but we're going to do it anyways. And here is Achieved is the Glorious Work.
All right, this next piece is going to be called Eclipse by Joe Buono. It has 12 parts, including 3 bass parts. That is why you see Grant on the end packing the contra. For those of you who've never seen that before, that's the trombone that's as tall as he is there on the end. It is divided into 3 sections: lunar, then solar, then lunar again. Have fun guessing which part is which. I think you can tell when the character changes. And looks like I've danced long enough. So here we go.
I think this is going to be our last chamber group for the night, so we'll preemptively clap. But can we get another round of applause for all of our chamber music this afternoon? There were some weeks, so we have, what, seven rehearsals? There were some weeks where they only got about 15 or 20 minutes to work on that. So not a lot of time, once a week for a summer. So I think a lot of what they've done is really, really impressive, and I hope you also enjoyed all the hard work. They're almost ready. And one other thing before they play, can we get one more round of applause for all of our mentors who have worked with all these students all summer? This really wouldn't work without them, and they're a bunch of wonderful people and wonderful musicians, and we really, really appreciate them. All right, I'll stop talking now. Dave has some stuff to say. But before he says anything, middle schoolers, wave at me. I just want to say, when you listen to all of this really, really amazing music that all these people play, this could all be you in just a few short years. All it takes is practice. Just wanted to say that. All right, Dave, you can talk now.
For those of you who don't know me, I'm Dave Cooper. I'm the third person who runs this thing along with Ben Roman and Graham Morgan. When I was 17 years old, this story won't be that long. When I was 17 years old, my dad went to KMEA. He was a band director. And one of the things he heard there was the University of Kansas Trombone Choir. And he came home and he said to me, I know you're going to KU, and I don't know what you're going to major in, but I know you're playing in the trombone choir. And I was like, I was 17. I was like, yeah, Dad, whatever. Not only was he right, but it has become one of the most important musical things in my life. I love this. I do. I'm sorry. I'm playing with one of my oldest friends. My oldest son is up here somewhere. I'm playing with present and former students, and I'm playing with these great mentors and other students that I've gotten to know this summer and over summers past. It means the world to me. You guys are fantastic. It's you guys have put up with so much for me this summer. You middle school children. Mila, how many times did I call you Mira this summer? Every time? And I know it's Mila now. They come back, the ones that have come back, they sound better every year. It's been amazing to watch, and I can't wait to see what they sound like next year. Come back. Come back. For those of you who are graduating from high school, come back. Those of you who are graduating from college, come back. We want you back. The community is the thing. That's the part that I'm the most proud of. So, one more time, give a great round of applause for your kids, for these mentors, and for these leaders. Thank you very much.
Our last piece today is this one. It's by a composer named Amber Sheeran, who's a little bit younger, and it's a newer piece. Apparently there's a really grisly, terrible story that inspired this music. I'm not going to tell it because there's children present, but there you go. All right, here we go. Thank you all so much for coming out. This is an awful lot of fun. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we've enjoyed it this summer, and we hope we get to see you again next year. Have a great one, everybody.
Before you get out of here, nice shots. If you all could put your note cards, if you have one on your stand, right up there on the conductor's podium, and if you could take at least one of the stand and rack it on those racks back there, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you guys. Nice job today. Have a wonderful rest of your day.